Oh, hello YouTube. I'm Dapie45 and welcome to my channel. Today I'm joined by Jacob because we found some ghost activity inside this apartment. So we're gonna try to hunt for it for ourselves.
I saw a ghost with my own 2 eyes.
Exactly. So that's why we're gonna turn this poltergeist into polterdust.
I could have died, dude.
Well, you didn't and you're still here, so it's fine.
You're right.
So I think we should split up so we can cover more ground.
Roger that. Ditto, it's you. Well, you're not gonna get away this time. Not with my trusty loser. Really thought he'd get away from you this time, huh? Oh.
I don't know, Jacob. I don't think there's anything here in this apartment. Jacob, what happened?
It's Ditto. He returned like in a ghost form, like some sort of supernatural. I don't know.
If only there was some way we could fight this new ghost form of Ditto.
Maybe we should watch Ghostbusters.
That's not a bad idea. This is perfect. Now we know what to do when Ditto comes across us again.
Wait, but we gotta review the movie first.
That's a good point. Let's do that. So Ghostbusters follows these 4 scientists, which are what it is, I don't know, what is their names? It's Spankman, Spangler. His name is Wilson, like his first name, but Zed and Stance, who are people who hunt ghosts in New York City. That's essentially what happens in this movie, along with a bigger storyline that gets into spoiler territory, so I won't go over it. So yeah, so my opinions, I like this movie. It was pretty good. It was well made. It was made in 1984. Of course, so you can kind of tell with the special effects used, but it's still really great and it's really funny, and even though it has some horror aspects in it, it's more of a comedy movie. I really like it. And would you like to add on anything?
What I want to say is we both grew up watching this movie, and generally, like to a lot of people that I know, it's like that. It's like, you know, you grew up watching this movie and it's just such a classic. And we went into it with sort of a fresh mindset. And as far as that goes, I would say it really stands as like a good comedy movie. And what's funny is that actually I want to speak from my opinion, but I don't see it as like a comedy. I see it is a comedy, but it's more of like kind of like just I don't know how to explain. It's more of like a small adventure, but it's not really too much of an adventure. It's more like you're just following these guys, like they don't know what they're doing. I guess it really is a comedy to me, but like, yeah, it's funny because these guys, you know, they don't know what they're doing. And it's funny because they are humanized in a way that you kind of relate, like how would you start your own business in a way, but with Ghostbusters. And the intro, I think the intro is great. It's phenomenal with like the librarian, and she gets scared, and then boom, Ghostbusters. And I like that. I feel like with a lot of these 80s movies, the intro is what captures you, you know? And I know as a kid when I used to watch it, I was like, oh, that's creepy. Like, you know, I wouldn't want to see that ghost, the librarian ghost. It's good stuff. And what I liked a lot about this movie is the use of practical effects. And what I mean by the practical effects is with the ghost and the terror dog. I really like that they used like sort of like some was like, you know, puppetry, but a lot of it was like the actors and the costumes, and they had, you know, recorded that and put that into like an edit so it showed that like they're floating or something. And I feel like it's fantastic for the time, you know, the 80s. It makes it look like as if, you know, they're actual ghosts, and they're actually genuinely scary, you know, like the dog, the terror dog, the demon dog is the most terrifying thing dog you'll ever see. But that aside, I really like how Sigourney Weaver is in this movie. The way she's like the female, you know, everyone has googly eyes over her. And was it Rick Moranis? He's always like, I like the part where he's waiting. He's by the door, but because she lives, so Rick Moranis, the actor in the movie, he lives like a couple of doors down from Sigourney Weaver, or Dana in the movie. So he lives like a couple doors down from Dana, and Venkman, he's coming out of the door, and the door slams, and you just see Rick Moranis, his character, come out. He's like, oh, hoping that was her that opened the door. But that was funny. I like how, you know, Rick Moranis and Bill Murray, their characters, they just like are in love with Dana. That really adds like a funny element to the movie, and it's cool because you get to see these guys just kind of figure themselves out throughout the movie, and I really like that. It feels fresh every time I watch the movie, and just the ending is great. I'm not gonna spoil anything because I mean, everyone, if you like Ghostbusters, you should have seen it already. Or it's been almost 40 years, but it's great. It's really great. Like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
That's a
Good
staple.
stuff. Yeah,
Stay Puft
that's
Marshmallow is very memorable. Has a lot of memorable scenes in it too. That are like classic scenes that people always remember and look back on. It's just a great movie altogether.
Yeah, it is. It is. Like, especially, you know, the Stay Puft Monster. Who could forget that? That's like Ghostbusters at its finest.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. And what are your thoughts?
Like I said, it's really good. I liked it. I watched it when I was younger also. And so I was saying, this is a really good movie. I enjoyed it. I watched it when I was a kid, and I still love it to this day. And I try not to let that get in the way from filming it, just like how Jacob said, because he told me that he didn't want that either. Because we both want to go into more of a critical analysis of this movie, and of course we both came out thinking it was still a great movie, and that we weren't just blinded by nostalgia, but that it does a lot of things really well, and it's just well made, very funny, has horror aspects that of course they're not really scary. Probably to a little smaller child it could be scary, but for the most part it's not, and it's just a great time to watch, and it's a really great movie.
I guess if there were any negatives in the movie, I would say that there are some parts, and they're very like, it's the most minimal parts of the movie, where it does seem to drag a little bit, but that's like probably just something very minute, and once that part's over, which is like 5 minutes or so, it picks up. It's not like a movie where, like, you know, there's a lot of slow parts. If you're actively watching it, it's a great movie. So this movie does have a lot of rewatchability, and I found that out because I haven't watched this for, I want to say, a good year and a half, and after watching it again, I found like some new stuff that I didn't remember, and I kind of saw some jokes that were like, oh, I see what's going on. A little bit of adult humor in there, like especially the part where who is it? Ray? He has the dream about the ghost. Not gonna say what happens there, but it's a little on the adult side.
It's definitely humor that like, kids would understand though, because like I know when I watched it, I remember being confused at that scene when I was younger.
Yeah, me too.
What's going on? I don't know. I don't get this. What? And now I know. Oh, he was getting the deed from the ghosts.
A dirty deed, indeed. But yeah, it's pretty funny in that aspect that you can watch it and you'll find something new every time. That's that goes with a lot to say. It's very straightforward, the movie. And that's what I like about it. It's you know, to the point. It's not like there's any scenes that you question. You find yourself questioning like, what was that needed? Was that necessary? Like, the whole movie is just to the point, and that's, you know, what I like. It's just pure, stays on the storyline, doesn't stray away from anything too weird. That's what's great about the movie itself.
Yeah, it's a really great movie, and if you haven't seen it, it's one of those movies that you should watch because it is really funny, really great. It's entertaining, and it's no wonder why it's a classic, because it's just so good. And of course, you and I both think about it very highly, and so does a bunch of other people.
Go watch it. Watch it right now. If you haven't watched it, you better watch it right now. Keep an eye on it.
Alright, so that's pretty much our review. The rating I would give it is a 9.5 out of 10. What would you give it?
I give it a solid 9, like just a 9 out of 10. Only because I feel like this movie, you have to have this sort of likeness for it. I can totally see someone that is not into these kind of movies, like, not enjoy it too much, because it takes like a certain type of humor to like this movie. But other than that, like, as a movie by itself, it's great. I think it's fantastic. That's why I give it the 9 instead of like 10 out of 10. But yeah, that's a 9.
So now that I finished this review, I think it's time to go back and hunt for Ditto.
Right on.
If only there was a way for me to gain the trust of Ditto and then just hide as a ghost and just sort of attack them, but like a surprise. But how am I supposed to become a ghost? That's it. I cover myself with this blanket, pretend I'm a ghost, gain the trust of Ditto, and then I can attack him.
Hey man, there's no ghost. I can't. A ghost!